Hi guys, it's Natalie here. Thanks for tuning in. My new show on All for United Women's channel. Obviously you see me a lot on the Monday show with John and the Thursday show with John, but I've decided to do my own channel and just basically promote some leagues, because I think we're always talking about the WSL, and I'm here with Chloe today to talk about the WSL, but I want to definitely promote other leagues, and I want to have more women on the channel basically talking about women's football. But Chloe, thank you so much for being our first guest on Why I Love The, and today it's about the Women's Super League. So Chloe, tell us about yourself. Tell us sort of how long you've been watching, or just anything that you want the people to know.
Yeah. Obviously, my name's Chloe Ledbeater. You'll know me on Twitter as ENG Lionesses. I've been watching the WSL since 2015, but I've been actually watching women's football since like 2003. So that was my first game when I was like 9 years old. So yeah,
That's very good.
Been watching a little bit of women's football then, and I think 2015 was where I really started to get into it.
Yeah, so you said you've been watching it since 9 years old. What kind of women's football then were you watching? If you started watching the WSL, but watching women's football before, what football were you watching? Was it more national teams then? England?
No, it was clubs. My first game, I've got a note here. My first game was Arsenal versus Fulham in the FA Women's Premier League Cup. That was when Fulham won it, and it was at the county ground in Swindon, which is where I live now. So that's why I went. But no, that was
Okay.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you seen like a massive change then from, say, well, I'm guessing yes, from watching that league or watching that competition to now the WSL?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the most notable thing about that is the audiences. Back then you didn't really get many. Like that cup was probably a couple of thousand people, which you could probably do that in a WSL game easy now. So yeah, mostly audiences, but also I think more technically, it's come on a lot over the years. I mean, investment, everything like that. Yeah, definitely improved over the years.
Yeah, investment is definitely playing a part in growing it, and obviously I see that badge there, Chelsea fan.
Yep.
We like everyone in. Talk to us about Chelsea and sort of when you started watching them, and probably the growth that they've made.
Yeah. Yeah. Started watching WSL in 2015. That was off the back of the World Cup, and obviously there was one particular player that I noticed in the World Cup, Fran Kirby, and she was the reason I started following Chelsea. Went to see them in the FA Cup final in August 2015. Then from there, went to my first WSL game, 4th of October 2015, which is when we lifted the cup, the league. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I can see lots of people in the chat. John, Curlers, Dennis, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in, guys. 15 people watching. Just hit the like. Drop any questions in for me or Chloe. Craig's here. Favourite ground you've visited so far?
Oh, obviously, well, say visit. I'm not. My closest one is actually the Madstad, which so to go to like Kings Meadow. Obviously, that's one of my favourites, but that's because it's home ground. Away ground? I'm not. I'm not sure. It's been a fair few. I did quite enjoy Durham, and that was like the FA Cup game. I did enjoy that place. That was interesting.
I've been that one. I'd probably say, I know he's not asking me, but for me, I'd say my favourite away ground is, I mean, I've not been watching as long as you, Chloe. So when you said the Madstad, is that Chelsea used to play there?
That's Reading.
Reading. Oh, okay. Medeski.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But for me, I'd say, I know he didn't ask me, but I'd say the Bournemouth Arsenal. Don't know if you've done that one. That's my favourite away ground.
That's a good one because it's you get off the train. It was literally just walk that way, and that was good. Yeah. I went there for the Kelly Smith farewell game. That was interesting. Yeah, that was a good place.
Yeah, Curl is here asking a question. Are we worried about the Glazers? Yeah, I am worried. And I know that it's not really a show about the Glazers, but no, I am worried because I think, like we said, investment is going into the women's football, and really they're not really investing at the level that I'd like them to. But I think they are investing. They've obviously brought Man United women's back. We have some quality players, so it's just, I suppose, about building upon that. Craig, I would have signed DVD at Bournemouth a few years back.
Signed photo of Daniel van der Donk, I think you meant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. Always happy to hear your thoughts. Yeah. So we're going to talk about just generally because obviously I'm going to do this about all different leagues. So talk to me about the top teams in the league, your views on them, your views of how they've developed or who's in and around there. Obviously, Chelsea won it this year, back to back, which is really good. But obviously, the City, Arsenal, who are around there, and a bit United. So how do you see those teams and they've done over the past years that you've been watching the WSL?
Yeah, Chelsea, Arsenal, City are normally sort of the top three, and they fight out. Man City, they had that title win. Oh, well, this is going back. 2016, I think, maybe? Something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But weirdly, they've been in and around, obviously, top three, but never seemed to win the league since then. It just, you would have thought they would have won at least one more or so since then. But something hasn't quite clicked there.
What do you think it is? Do you think it's other teams doing better? Obviously, I hope Man United one day will win a league, but I can't see it for a while. But then I do see it as Chelsea and City as the top two, and then Arsenal and United, maybe even Everton now, who are coming up and investing a lot.
Yeah, I think it is other teams sort of catching up. I mean, since City won, it's been mainly Chelsea and Arsenal. So, yeah, we've definitely invested a lot. I mean, like even last season, I was looking at sort of starting 11s. I was like, that's a strong team. Look at the bench. That's a strong team in of itself. So yeah, you've got investment Chelsea. Arsenal have been, yeah, I don't know. A while back, I thought, there's not really that much togetherness there. There's something not quite right there either. Obviously, they did have that season where they won the title, but I don't know. I hope that something goes a bit better, this season, because obviously they came third last year. So yeah.
I mean, there's 3 Champions League places. That's opening up a lot. In other leagues as well, we're seeing 3 Champions League places. Do you think that's a good thing for the league? Because obviously you probably watched it when it was just 2 teams fighting for that Champions League, but there was probably a top 3. I mean, do you see it being a top 3, 4, 5 this coming year? What's your thoughts?
I think the whole top 3 thing is, yeah, it's still kind of there, but it's fading away quite quickly. I could see a bit of an upset probably next season, but Everton are really going for it, really investing, so they could possibly go for it. Yeah, there's probably a fair few teams that they are fully going in for it. I mean, this transfer sort of window, craziest I've seen yet. So yeah, but as for the Champions League spots, yeah, it's good to see extra spots. Although it's a weird league champions format. I mean, we've got to qualify, which I still can't get my head around. But yeah, I do remember the days of like Chelsea going to Glasgow City. So yeah, it's progressed since then, but yeah, looking forward to it.
I mean, you talked about the Madstad before, Reading. I suppose they're sort of always in and around. Talk to us about sort of how you've seen teams come in and out of the league, but I think Reading have sort of been a consistent team. Well, since I've been watching, have you found that? Have you found that there's sort of been consistent teams that are always in the league, or that are always sort of just mid-tier? No disrespect, but is there a team that you sort of think they're always there in and around mid-table or towards the top or towards the bottom? Is there any consistent teams that, you know, if someone never watched women's football or WSL, who would you say are like more those kind of teams?
Yeah, Reading have definitely been that sort of team over the years, ever since they got promoted to this league. Brighton, I think, quite a consistent team, which obviously they got Hope Howe at the helm, so she's helped them. But I sort of underestimated them before. I thought that one season they're going to get relegated. So yeah, then another team, Tottenham, because they've obviously had to go through the sort of National League, come up through there. So they're looking pretty good, especially with the investment they're making at the moment. So,
well, like Tottenham, in the men's side, you say they're quite a big team. So you're sort of saying that they're in and around, but they're not. Maybe say like a Chelsea.
Yeah, they're not there, but they need something to sort of go up a bit. Yeah.
Can you see them potentially being that kind of team that will eventually push up, or do you think they're just always going to be where they are, like a Reading?
I think they'll always sort of be in and around. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, John Fry, thanks for coming, mate. You know, drop any comments in, John. You know you can. We're just talking generic WSL, but we'll talk different topics. Well, you know, within reason. A name, Chloe, and I'll say my thought on it. I'm guessing you've probably seen this person in the WSL since you've been watching him. He's been linked to Man United now, and I know Craig's in the comments. Mark Skinner, do you think he's a decent manager when you've watched, obviously, because you said you've watched it for a while? Do you think he did well?
Yeah, he
at
did.
Birmingham?
He did quite well at Birmingham.
Go for it.
He knows his way around the sort of WSL, and he knows how to get something out of, I wouldn't say nothing, but not much. And obviously United are struggling a bit, which is not so good to see. But I think where you are at now, Mark's going to be a good, good manager to help you on.
Well,
Orlando Pride is not done so well, but not sure why it's not done well. But yeah, I think it'd be good to see him back in the WSL.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are sort of saying. A lot of people are saying he's a good manager. He did well with not a lot at Birmingham. But then, like you say, isn't it? I don't think we can ignore what's. I know it's taken a while, and now seems to be doing better at Orlando. But I don't think we can ignore the first two-ish. I know it was COVID, but the first-ish season when they didn't really win any game. I think it was like a year or something. He didn't win a game, so that's not good reading. But like you said, Craig's here again, who said Arsenal, Birmingham, and Chelsea are the only team that have featured in every WSL season, which like Arsenal and Chelsea are the big powerhouses, but Birmingham, I suppose, were, when I started watching it, they were up there with Mark trying to compete, and then they've just sort of, now they're towards the bottom. And I know we've read about all that's gone on there, but for me as well, it's like you see a Reading, they're in a championship as well, so it's not that, it's just, I mean, what do you think it is? What do you think of Birmingham? That's a team, because like, yeah, they were up there, and now they're sort of towards the bottom half of the league. What's your opinion on say a Birmingham? They've been consistent, but it's not looking great either. It's like I call Man United we're looking in the mirror. It's just like we've probably got a bit more money. Oh look, Birmingham finished second in 2011 and 2012. So yeah, they're a good side, Birmingham, good solid side that have remained in the league.
obviously they've had stars like sort of Eni Aluko, Karen Carney. They've had some sort of great names over the years. I mean, they're two players that came to Chelsea, unfortunately, and Kratchen Berger, their goalkeeper, came to Chelsea. So they've had some good players over the years, but yeah, it's behind the scenes that hasn't helped them really. And we saw that quite a bit last season with all the injuries and yeah. And obviously Carla Ward tried her best, but yeah, it's not going well.
No. I mean, like Birmingham, John there, more here about Mark. You might be the next one. And then curlers, women's football star, and however they deserve more recognition. Yeah, well, I think that it is. And I think this league, now it's going on Sky, it is going to get that more recognition. What do you think, Chloe? Do you think the Sky move is a good thing? I know a lot of people are upset over the kickoff times, which, 11 o'clock on a Saturday isn't the one, but it's something you can get used to. I mean, as long as they keep sort of those games local-ish, but then I suppose not everyone's fans are local to the stadium. We know that as a Man United fan, and I mean, you're saying you're close to the Madstad more than Kings Meadow. What's your thoughts on like Sky and even now big accounts like Bleacher Report and all those kind of things? They're now talking about women's football a lot more. What's your thoughts on sort of the way that the more eyes now on the WSL compared to when you first watched it? I know you said about attendance, but
yeah,
the Sky deal definitely.
Yeah, I remember it. I remember having to struggle to try and watch WSL games. Like you'd have to actually go to games rather than watch it from home. It's definitely gotten better over the years. It's getting there. I mean, I think the FA player definitely helped last year since we couldn't go to games. But yes, Sky, they seem like I mean, obviously they've done the transfer window for women's football. So they've put up work there. And I think they're really going to take it quite seriously. It'll be good for the game, I think, especially the broadcasting money as well. That's going to come into it, which, I mean, top teams are maybe not struggling for money, but it'd be good for the sort of lower teams. A bit more so they can invest more and quality is going to go up. Yeah. I think
well, like we were saying about Birmingham, that'll be good. And then you say top teams might not need it, but the ones towards the bottom. I mean, Bristol got relegated this season, but just talk to us about those teams around the bottom. I know Villa were there, Birmingham, Bristol. What's your views on those teams that might be struggling a bit, like you said?
Yeah, Bristol. That was. It's like a point or so off of staying in or so. I think that was a tough one for them, but they did kind of look like going down. I think they need to sort of go back and then come back up. Yeah, I hope it'll be good for Birmingham because, as I say, it's not very good. But yeah, it'd be good for those lower teams to invest. Leicester, who are coming up, they've been pretty good at investing, and just like a season or so ago, they just sort of got rid of a load of players and then signed a load of really good players like Millie Farrow, Charlie Devon, all sort of young, exciting players. And the investment showed because they're obviously now going to be in WSL at the right time with the Sky deal. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think Craig's sort of saying it. A lot can change with the right backing. Everton got relegated. Were you around then, Chloe, when that happened? Watching it.
I can't remember when that was, but I think they used to have like Tony Duggan years ago before she went off to City, and then obviously she's returning back now after going to Atletico. So.
Yeah, well, you said like better backing now, and I was Aston Villa's a team that are, I wouldn't say established, but they are in and around the Premier League at the top. I think they're a stable Premier League team, but you see them sort of going? I mean, I always come on this show and rave over Wardy, but do you see them, like you say, Leicester at the top, the men's team and now the women's team are doing well? Do you see more of that, like the sort of stable Premier League men's teams maybe putting more money in?
Yeah, I suppose that could happen. Also, it depends on their financial situation at the moment, the whole COVID thing. But yeah, I could see that happening, definitely. I mean, but I think it's better. Like, for example, United, they've got a good name, but you can't just go off a good name. You can maybe go off that one or two seasons, but you need the investment. That is definitely the thing you need right now. So, but yeah, need more investment, and I mean, especially the financial incentives right now.
Yeah, Sky and
Yeah,
the money to winning it. Yeah, definitely. Craig said they got relegated in 2014. That's just
before, yeah.
Just before you started watching. Who do you think there's any dark horses then in the WSL? Do you think there's anyone who sort of stands out who team should be, because if you sort of told about the top teams, the middle teams, and near the bottom, but if someone's never watched it before, is there any team that you think, like maybe not win it, but they're definitely gonna cause an upset, kind of say? I mean, there was a few upsets, wasn't there, last season?
Oh, blimey. Yeah, like when we lost to Brighton. That sort of things. I think, yeah, Brighton, they can do well on their day. Reading, do not underestimate them at all, because they can spring a surprise on you. They've not done so well recently, but they've definitely got something there, and they can beat somebody on their day. Leicester are going to be ones to watch out next season. Definitely. I think it's going to be like when you came into the league, like fifth, sixth, whatever. And yeah, you're up there.
So would you say that's a good team to watch next year, Leicester?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What do you make of their signing so far? Because I know they signed Jess, who was Namrata. They signed Jess Sigsworth. They signed players from Bristol and Birmingham players, and it's just, I suppose, like you said, just to stabilise them in the league. Do you think that's what's going to happen?
Yeah. I mean, they've signed players that got experience of this league and sort of top league. So yeah, it's good to see all the signs there. I mean, it's hard to keep up because I think they announced another one today.
Yeah. I think it's Abby
Grant, yeah.
Yeah, Abby Grant. I think she played for Birmingham, so Craig might know a bit about her. I don't know too much about her. But they seem to be signing those players in and around, and then I think they've got the talent, like you said, Charlie, Paige, I think, I can't say her name, Paul, Lachette Paul, I think Plumtree's really good. So they've got that talent, and then they're adding sort of established WSL players into it.
I think I remember Ashley Plumtree from like Notts County days.
Okay.
Yeah. Early on when I was watching WSL.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on County, and then there was Donny Bells, wasn't there? Was there any teams that were there? I mean, I know it's sad to see, but is there any teams that you've thought back then? County was quite a good team, and obviously Donny Bells. Is there any teams that you miss that aren't in the league anymore? Even Liverpool, do you miss Liverpool? Think they should come back in?
Yeah, I do miss Liverpool a bit, but it was definitely a lack of investment there. It eerily looked close to like the Notts County situation, which that was tough to see, especially for the fans of Notts County. Then that was shocking treatment, really. I mean, you look at the things that came out after that. Yeah, I'm glad the owner that was sort of in charge then sort of got out, because he was not doing well with the team. But they've got I think they're like regional or something right now. They've got a while before they're going to work their way up, but it'd be good to have them back again.
Donny Bells, that is, or County?
County.
counter, yeah.
Sunderland is good. Well, they're doing well in the National League.
Mm,
That was sad to see them going the way they did.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I remember I think when we were at Staines watching them, and Sue Smith was playing, which is
Oh, yeah,
yeah, that
some
was
fans might
powerful.
know her. She's on Sky Sports regularly now.
I think the game I saw was her last game. Not that she told
Oh,
anybody,
okay.
but
Oh,
yeah,
but no, that's good. And like you say, I think these teams might build their way back up eventually. I mean, Sunderland now, they're looking like they're going to build their way back up. And I know John's in the comments, so I'm sure he'll tell us a few things about Sunderland.
they'll probably say
But
about Beth Mead.
yeah, Beth Mead might go back, and I know people are saying here, curlers. The more we see it on TV, the more barriers it'll break down. TV is only a good thing, and I know you said over there about the talent that we have, and you sort of said about where it's come and where it is. Do you think that's through more coaching, more full time, and because we were the first? When I say we, I mean Super League was the first, full time league. Do you think? And obviously it meant we've lost a few teams, but now we are where we are. Do you think that's a good thing then? Potentially in hindsight that we did that?
Yeah, definitely a good thing. I mean, I remember even the top players at the moment, like sort of Beth Mead, Jill Scott, Lucy Bronze, they had to struggle to try and when they were young to try and play football when it wasn't an accepted thing. Girls could play football, and they had the dream of playing professionally, but it wasn't a thing then. I mean, I remember there wasn't much around, so I sort of came into playing football like many years later when I was sort of an adult. So. But now, way more accessible. Loads of academies, and the academies haven't come through, so definitely more accessible now.
Yeah. Talking of academies, is there any young players, either last year or this year, or any just general players that you think, if any followers are now watching, not really watched much Super League, just know about United? Is there any? You can name some United players if you want, but anyone in the league that you think that's going to be they're going to be a player, or they're already a good player, they're going to do even better. Is there anyone you think that? It could be Chelsea, could be United, could be Birmingham, could be anyone.
Yeah, I know we've had a while back, sort of around 2015, we did have a good couple of players coming through, like Mary Taylor, who's over in the US right now. And even Hannah Blundell came through sort of many years ago, and look at how she's doing now. Yeah, and we've had like Charlotte Fleming from our academy sort of go to the London City Lionesses. Emily Murphy is going to North Carolina. I think we've got also signed like Emily Wardlaw and Charlotte Orman, I think, on deals. They're going to be coming through to the first team. So yeah, it's good to have an academy sort of try and get that talent through. But it's also given them the opportunity to push through, really. And I think, I'm not sure how young she is now, but one player that would be good to look out for, who's had an interesting journey for the WSL, was Angela Addison, who I think
Yeah,
the
from
team
Spurs.
is changed. They changed their name, but they used to be called CNK Basildon. They're in the national, I think it was Premier League, WPL at the time. But she came from there, and she's established herself. So I think it's good to sort of maybe look beyond and look into the National League possible upcoming players to make the league.
I remember Angela Addison, watching her when United were in the Championship, and United played Spurs a lot. Even now, she's very small, but she's very quick. And even though she's very small, she scored a header against I think Siobhan Chamberlain. She's about 5'11" or something. And this Angela's like 5'5" probably, but she still managed to jump and score a header. And I think someone like Addison is sort of, it doesn't matter how tall you are, doesn't matter how this you are, breaking the barrier of, you know, we heard how like Messi got told. I'm not saying she's a Messi level, but like, you're too short for this game. And I think she just shows it doesn't matter. You can always play football. I mean, some of the talents I'm looking out for, I think Hannah Hampton's going to be good. I think Freya Godfrey, Lauren James, Ella Toon.
Yep. Of course, you had
I know.
LJ.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sad that Ebony Salmon, she was at Bristol. I thought she would have gone. Well, I'd like her maybe to come back, but you know, she will be a player that I think will come back, whether it's City, United, Chelsea, and definitely do well. Another young player that's gone over to America, Emily Murphy. Did you see that coming? Did you think that would happen? Because I remember when she came into Chelsea, scored lots of goals, scored goals at Birmingham. Did you see another top talent? Yep. Did you see that happening? Did you hear about it? Or what do you think? What's your thoughts on it? That she's gone over to UNC.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise, really. I wasn't sure how. I mean, we saw her a bit last season. Yeah, she seemed like quite a good talent. But I wasn't sure, you know, how she was going to make that step into establishing herself in the first team. I know it's good that she's gone to North Carolina. I mean, look at the people that have gone there. I mean, one example, Lucy Bronze, and look where she is now. So, if you're going to go somewhere, go to North Carolina, sure.
Chloe, talk to me. I don't know how much men's football you watch, but how would you describe the WSL in comparison maybe to the Premier League? Do you think it's similar? I mean, when I watch it, I see two wingers, I see attacking, but like you say, it's getting more technical. Can be more technical. Do you think that's a thing? It's not as technical as say other leagues, but it is still very physical. What would your view be on Super League in that respect?
I think it's a lot more sort of technical and quite tactical. Still can be quite physical at times. I mean, for example, I mean, Millie Bright, she's definitely physical. One-on-one with her, nope, don't want to do that. But yeah, you'll get those players that are quite physical but you know, can execute it quite well. So yeah, but technicality is definitely a huge thing in WSL.
I've got another question for you, Chloe, just a separate one that Dennis put in. I think you'll have a good opinion on it. America got stuffed today. Great Britain win. What's your thoughts?
I could see this coming for a while, unfortunately. I mean, I think before the last World Cup, I was like, nah, USA are not going to win the World Cup. They did, unfortunately. But they've been dominant for a while, but I've just had this gut feeling that, you know, something's going to happen. They're just going to fall from grace a bit. And they've definitely been found out. And you've got sort of the older players, Megan Rapinoe, Carly Lloyd, sort of that lot. You know, they're still very, very good, but they're at that stage where this possibly could be the last tournament. So yeah. And Great Britain win. Yeah, good to see. Quite happy with that. I thought we were going to win. Yeah, very good to see.
Were you worried at all about the start? Great Britain at all, not having any warm-up games or anything like that?
No, not worried at all. I think, to be honest, I mean, one game is fine, really, because they need a bit of a break from the Champions League. So, yeah, it's good. That refreshed them, and then have a good win against New Zealand, who, of course, England a bit of a problem before the last World Cup. That's good. So, yeah, I wasn't worried about that.
Okay, are you confident that Great Britain are potentially going to get on the medal?
Yeah. I predicted them to win gold. So.
Okay. Exclusive. Heard it here first. I don't know if I'm with John here. I wasn't convinced, but you know, they played a strong team. They did well. They looked well drilled, which is good. David saying everyone's giving up. They can still finish second. And yeah, I think Sweden were underestimated, to be honest. And Mia Eriksson is on the show tomorrow. We're going to talk more Man United, but you know, she'll be talking big about Sweden. I think that was a team that was definitely underestimated. What do you think of Sweden? Do you think they were underestimated?
Yeah, definitely underestimated. I mean, come on, they won the bronze at the last World Cup. They've got the likes of Magda. I mean, got to pick up Magda. Hedvig Lindahl and yeah, then various other players. Sweden, strong team, and you saw it today. 3-0 win against the USA, which, I mean, a win against them is huge, but 3-0, and to make them look as inept as they did. Yeah. So.
Here, EMW, Holland looked good, and I know there's a comment that he said about the girl that scored the 3 for Zambia. That's really good, and that's the thing with Holland. I think they might struggle defensively. I think they're good, but I think they might. Banda looks good, and she scored 3 goals against them. That's the only thing with Holland. I think they'll score a lot of goals. You know, Viv, who's a player who's top goal scorer a lot.
Yeah, she smashed it.
Yeah, she got 4 today.
Brought the 10 goals.
Yeah. And Jill and Jackie made assists. So I think there's you know, Holland will score goals. I just don't think they will concede a lot as well.
Yeah,
I think that might cost them.
Did well in obviously 2017 winning the home Euros, but yeah, they did well in the World Cup. But it just, I don't know, not quite convinced by them at the moment.
Ugly Bear. What's that? Sorry.
Despite the sort of 10-3 wins.
Yeah. Well, I'm not like Zambia did really well getting goals, but you know they're comparing them to Holland. I think I read something. Zambia are 104 ranked, and Holland are like 4th ranked with all the money behind it. Zambia are doing it all for free, and you know having to probably pay. I don't know, but I don't think their FA are supporting them probably the way that they should. But obviously, you know, hopefully we'll see that changing. I mean, Ugly Bear sort of said WSL still a long time away from the men's game. Few generations till we get to that standard, and I suppose the same for international. Is probably going to take a while to get up to that men's standard. But should we aim for the men's standard? I mean, curlers, women's football has been the fastest growing sport, so they should be similar, but they're not. But can you see it maybe being similar, or do you think that women are going to go down their own path and do it their own way?
Yeah,
because it's growing fast.
Yeah, I think we'll go down our own path, our own way. I think people forget that women's football was like banned for 50 years. I mean, before the ban, it was getting crowds of 50,000 and whatsoever. Yeah, so that ban put them back quite a bit, but the rate it's growing at the moment is incredibly rapid. So yeah, it won't be long until some people say, "Oh, women's football." I think they'll start to watch and think, "Actually, this is pretty good."
Definitely. I mean, I know we're just talking about the WSL, but how would you compare the WSL? I don't want to get into this fight or a debate about which league's the best and this league's the best. How would you just probably put it? I know, and you can put it 1, you can put it 2, but in comparison to the other leagues, so your Spanish league, your NWSL, like I said, guys, it's not a we're better than you. It's just, you know, just say it. So how would you place the WSL? Would you place it as a top league? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a bit biased, but I would say it's definitely a top league, if not the top. It's, I mean, the amount of world-class players we're getting at the moment, not just sort of homegrown, but elsewhere, and like even last season, Tobin Heath, Kristen Press coming to the league, Sam Mewis, Abby Delcamper. I mean, it used to be the other way that sort of our top players used to go over to America. But to have American players come over here is mad. Even if it's like Alex Morgan, who wasn't here for that long, but still coming here to the WSL and seeing what it's like here. Definitely becoming a lot more unpredictable. the fact, the result is how tight it is now. So there's that. I think there's some leagues that just say, okay, during the regular season, this might happen, but in the end, the same one or two teams will win the league. So, which is okay, I suppose, but yeah, no, I like it a bit more unpredictable. Yeah, and then
That,
obviously
that
investment from all the teams,
mm.
or most of the teams. That's good, and yeah.
Yeah, that is what I love about football. I think the unpredictability. Top team could beat bottom, bottom can beat top. The Reading can beat us, Brighton can beat Chelsea. But it is sort of the same team, isn't it, really, that does win it. Chelsea, City, Arsenal. I mean, no other team have won it, but Chelsea have won it twice in a row now.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to win it this year? Do you think City are going to come back? Or, dark horse Everton, even Man United, I'll put us in a dark horse now. What do you think for next year's season?
I have to
Back your own.
Yeah, I have
period.
to back
But if not, who do you think?
City are definitely investing well.
Mm.
Yeah, I can see City fighting out. Arsenal, possibly, and Everton. I think they'll be the ones getting put in the mix, really. Yeah.
John Fry saying more work behind the scenes. I think definitely standards of refs, stadiums, pitches, but it's getting there definitely.
Yeah, I've seen a lot worse in lower leagues. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of us United fans, I think we came in, we saw sort of, I think, Championship as well. We saw sort of some of the standards, and I think we were shocked. But I think it's because it's not been out there, probably. Put that, and then I think now a lot of things are being talked about. A lot more Birmingham situation, Arsenal situation. Everton had their pitch issues. Obviously, our situation is getting put out there. But that, for me, is good that these things are getting put out there and more people are talking about it. Curlers, again, thank you, mate. There's money in the women's game. It'll explode in terms of quality overall and coaching. That'll make the overall product top class. Yeah, definitely. John is City a slightly aging squad. Thing is, you could say yes. I mean, I know Bronze isn't young now, which is probably at a peak. Steph probably aging, but they've got Del Camper. I think the one for me is the Bunny Shaw one. I know I've come on this show and talked about her a lot. I love her to bits. Jamaican sister. That'll change. That'll change it for me.
I think before the World Cup, I was saying, I think it was before the World Cup, like May 2019. I was like, watch out for Khadija Shaw. She's one to watch. She could do well, and then she did pretty well at the World Cup actually, and then went to Bordeaux and now come to City. Obviously, you wanted to go to United, but
not to be.
Yeah, she'd be one to watch out for, definitely.
EMW. 8 City and the players look strong today. I think City might win the WSL. I hope they don't, but yeah, they might. And like we said, Khadija Shaw for me, world class, different level. And I'm excited, like you said, about the players that had come in, Chloe. Tobin, your Kristen, whether they've just come in for the COVID and have gone back. You saw with Alex Morgan, but I do think Jamaica internationals coming. I know Spurs have just signed the first Chinese player in the WSL, and she's quite a good player. And that's the thing that I love to see, different players from all different around. It's going to only help, I suppose, their leagues, but it'll help our league because our players will play against these players. What's your thoughts about seeing like Jamaica international and Chinese internationals coming in? When you see that, does it make you excited, or do you think no, we should be more focused on the English internationals? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I quite like it. It's interesting to see, and then obviously some people look at that and go, okay, what is that league like? Educate themselves a bit more on various different countries' leagues, and yeah, it's good to see. And then obviously we've got like even in the league for a while. I know they've recently become sort of making internationals like Becky Spencer, like Drew Spence, and then weird ones that I didn't know. They could represent a country like Ashley Pumphrey from Nigeria. That was a bit of a surprise, but Yeah, good to see more international representation.
Do you think that's a good thing? Because a lot of people I've seen a lot of comments, and for me, I think people are worried it's going to taint the Lionesses, say, or Team GB. But for me, I think it's a good thing having people but people are saying they're taking the place of, say, a young English player instead. I mean, what's your thoughts on that sort of debate?
I think if you bring in sort of more world-class players, that's going to make others go, okay, I need to step up, and that's going to make them even better. So more competition, better quality. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Dennis, hopefully, mate, City will suffer towards the end. Chloe,
We'll see, because Chelsea have got sort of
the same
not
amount.
the same amount, near enough.
Yeah. I mean, that might be a benefit to Man United if a lot of your players, maybe we'll all start slow, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
That might help us.
Be interesting to see.
It will be, because I think probably a lot of your players, if they do go far, England, well, Team GB, sorry, Sweden, if they go far, they've got a lot of, and Holland, it'd be interesting to see, definitely. And even America, because I know that Abby Camper for City. They probably won't start the season. But Chloe, we've had constantly, over 15 people watching, 20 people at some points. I really enjoyed your chat. Is there anything else that you would say to people, even if they're watching from wherever and they don't want to watch the WSL, they want to watch Super League? What would you say to people to get into women's football, just in general?
That's a tough one, actually. But I think maybe go the route I did, like find a player that you think, oh, that's a good player. I'll watch their journey where they go. Because look what happened to me. I started watching Chelsea because Frank out, and look at the success they've had. I mean, that might not happen for everybody, but at least you've got sort of a focal point to start on, and then sort of a bit of story behind it. Yeah,
definitely. Find a player, find your team, like you say, Spurs, Leicester. There's all. But even if like Burnley, they're investing, and we're seeing a lot of Premier League and other teams investing. So yeah, find your player, find your club, and just join the journey, I suppose.
Yep, yeah, definitely.
Chloe, thank you so much for coming on my first Wednesday show. Next week it might be a bit of a different style of show, guys, but still tune in. Let me know. Let Chloe know if you liked it. Craig, impressed you didn't mention it to 45 minutes in. Yeah. It was a good. You didn't show your bias there, Chloe. I like it.
Myself.
Yeah.
Although if somebody starts me on her, I can talk for days.
Go for ages. But yeah, where can people find you if they want to find out more about you? Where can they find you? Twitter, Facebook, anything, any kind of socials you want to shout out, Chloe? Or
yeah, I'll shout out my personal Twitter, ENG Lionesses, and my own sort of women's football blog, YouTube channel, which is on Twitter at WOSO UK.
WOSO UK. Definitely go and check them out. You can learn more. Come on, girls. Some comments about that, yeah. Great show, John. Thank you so much, mate. Thank you so much, Chloe. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. There's going to be more shows, more content every day. Obviously, tomorrow it's me, John, Mia. We're going to be talking about Borarisa signing for United, and we've got Namraya. So we're going to talk about Mark Skinner from more, say, a United point. Not that Chloe didn't give a good point, but what do the United fans think? John, always watching. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. We're going. Mark Skinner, let's say, so tune in tomorrow, and then drop a like on this video. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.